Happy Tuesday, everyone.
Happy Tuesday. Glasses for you.
This is 40 bitches. Yeah,
Aww.
I know. But what do you think? I feel like I'm not going to lie, I feel like they make me look smarter.
Smarter, sophisticated. Are they Warby Parker?
They are Warby Parker, and I have
Mine too.
I have to give them a shout out. It was so easy to go in to do. I had to have them, once I got them back, I had to have them adjusted.
Yep, as you should.
They did it, and I think they work.
They look great.
They're really more for reading. So, but are yours all the time?
They can be, but they don't have to be. Because then I can pop in, contacts.
Do you wear them just to look smarter too?
No, I wear them to sometimes hide the bags on the under eye.
Oh, smart. I'm like, or do you actually have to use them to see?
Oh, no, I need to see. I need to see. I can't see.
Oh, you can't?
Not really. But my son tells me that he doesn't like them.
Okay.
Because I look more like a superhero without them.
Oh, I think you're very superhero-ish with them. It's more of like the Clark Kent.
I know, but he really wasn't feeling that story.
That's so cute, though.
It was cute.
Oh, that he thinks you're a superhero.
Congrats to you and your Warby Parkers.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome
and
to the club.
To you as well. I'm going to take them off for the show, though, because they keep reflecting. Speaking of things being reflected and shiny, and that's a terrible segue, but I do want to give a little bit of love to some of our beauty besties. You know, we always ask you guys to write to us, to share things with us, and we did get some love from one woman was Samia. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. She's actually also a journalist and a pop culture writer, and her website is The Samia Life. So she gave us some love. Ryan, she was like, I love you. So we're going to give her a little love back. And then also AJ and Archie, who I bumped into on the street, and apparently Archie listens to all of these beauty podcasts, and I hope she will add Art Beauty to her list. She's
Love that.
Big fan of the beauty stuff. So just a reminder to everybody, if you've got questions you want us to ask, if you've got topics you want us to explore, write us. Hello at Art Beauty Podcast, and we'll try to get to that. And today, and proof of that, we had another writer write in who has just been diagnosed with psoriasis and asked us to look into some homeopathic or non-traditional, non-pharmaceutical treatments. And, we know CBD now is kind of like the Wild West, I feel like. Do you?
Yes, it is the Wild West, but I think we've navigated some real direct paths to to land in some good places and some safe places.
Yeah, and I'm excited today. We've got Boronia from Mello Daily, and she's got a CBD company. And I actually met her at this event and was blown away by her knowledge. Full disclosure, when I asked her to come on to our show, she said, I will not come on to talk about CBD for beauty because in her opinion, there just wasn't enough research behind it. That said, when I wrote to her and said, hey, we've got somebody who we want to talk about psoriasis, skin conditions like rosacea, do you feel prepared to come on and talk about that? And she said, oh, absolutely. So let's hear what she has to say.
You guys are super organized. My God.
Oh, do we look it? Oh, that's so exciting.
I was just saying that my web browser was like, what did it say? Your web browser, Ryan, do you remember what it was? It wasn't disorganized. It was unstable.
You were unstable.
I was like, oh, a web browser, you have no idea how unstable I really am. So
it's a metaphor.
Yeah, seriously.
You have an unstable web browser, you have an unstable internal.
It happens.
You need to take CBD.
Okay.
I've got her too a couple times.
And Good. You know what happened, Ryan? Guess who came and stole my CBD?
Your mother.
My mother came and stole my CBD. And Boronia, I've been waiting to talk to you because I remember we met at Liftonic and you were giving out samples of that little like caramel chew.
That's amazing. Isn't it the best? I know.
Those are the ones that I want to order. And I had to ask you, did you say those have like a little bit of THC in them too? Are we allowed to say that?
Yeah, you are. But they actually don't have any THC.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah, they're broad spectrum. So broad spectrum products don't have any THC in them. And the reason that we did that is because we also ship them to the UK. And you can't ship internationally.
So,
and then the ones that do are called full spectrum.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, anything with THC in it is called a full spectrum product. And anything without THC is broad spectrum. And then anything that is just pure CBD is an isolate.
Question for you. So are you legally, or not you, but are companies legally allowed to sell things with THC in them?
Yeah, most of our products have THC in them.
Oh, maybe that's what I was remembering. Okay.
Yeah. So if you go to our website, pretty much I would say 90% of the products on our website have THC in them.
Okay.
And so that's why we are considered a full spectrum brand. And the reason you can do that is because as of December of 2018, if it's hemp derived cannabinoids that have less than 0.03% THC, it's 100% legal.
As opposed to marijuana.
Yes. So you have the cannabis being the mother plant, and then you have marijuana and you have hemp.
Got it.
And if it's marijuana, even if it's if it's a marijuana derived product that has less than 0.03% THC, technically that should be illegal because of the verbiage. Like the verbiage is very specific and it says hemp.
Okay.
So I think it has to be hemp derived.
When we first met, I had asked you to come on to talk about beauty and CBD and beauty. And you said you really didn't want to do that because you didn't feel there was enough research behind it. Correct?
Yeah. And I still stand behind that.
well, can you tell it so tell me what your thoughts are on that.
Well, so in a nutshell, the way that I see beauty, I'm obsessed with beauty. So I do all the beauty products. I love vitamin A. I love vitamin C. I do a little Botox touch up. I'm all about using active ingredients.
Okay.
So when people come to me and say to me, do you think that cannabinoids are good for my skin? My answer always to that is, well, they are, but they're not anti-aging. They're not going to help you with the things that you're probably going to beauty products for. Okay. And so I encourage people to save their money and actually shop from businesses that have products with the active ingredients in them, because there's not enough science to support the fact that cannabinoids, being CBD, CBN, CBG, or THC, have any effect on the skin's surface. So, and that's applied to anti-aging.
Gotcha.
When you think about anything to do with abrasions or bites or burns,
yes,
cannabinoids can be very good for that, because cannabinoids can get into the subdermal layer of your skin if you have it cut. But when you're applying it on the surface and you're thinking about using it as an anti-aging treatment, I would say don't do that. Save your money and buy something else.
Gotcha. And then we had one of our listeners write in, and so the reason that you are here today is that somebody was asking a viewer or a listener shared with us, a listener/viewer shared with us that they had recently been diagnosed with psoriasis, and that a lot of the traditional pharmaceutical treatments were kind of scary. Some of the drugs had a lot of side effects, and they wrote and said, hey, can you look into the use of CBD? The problem being is that a lot of doctors aren't as knowledgeable about it yet, again, because it is this sort of new field. And they were asking if there was suggestions on whether or not CBD is good for things like psoriasis, and maybe what the dosing would be. And if you have any anecdotal evidence or examples that you can share with us.
Sure. So I am a big proponent of that. I think that eczema, psoriasis, any kind of arthritic, any kind of thing that's inflammatory is very good when you treat it is very well treated with cannabinoids. And the reason that is because our body in all facets likes to operate from a place of balance. And when we're out of balance, we get inflammation. And the physiological response to that is eczema, psoriasis, IBS, all of those things. And so there's a lot of scientific studies that show that cannabinoid treatment helps with inflammation. So you can make that correlation. My concern with that, though, from a scientific perspective, is it's not a cause and effect. So there's not real studies that say if you have psoriasis, treat it with cannabinoids. There's no concrete studies that have proven that yet. So really, you're right. It's all down to anecdotal evidence. And in my opinion, if you use it consistently over a period of time, there have been some instances with small studies. So there was a study done, I think it was in Italy, and then there was also a study done recently in the UK where it was treating psoriasis directly. And there were some patients that had reported that the sting and the itch that you get, that immediate sting and itch, is actually lessened within like 5 to 10 minutes of using a cannabinoid oil or a cannabinoid balm. So that's a really positive result, right? But it's not a result that pharmaceutical companies or scientists or doctors are jumping on right now. But I think we can certainly use that anecdotal evidence. And I think if there's customers out there who have psoriasis and they've been given that prognosis by their doctor's going to say, like, you need to use a steroid medication or you need to use an anti-inflammatory medication, which I think can be really scary. So I would recommend doing that, but doing that in a minor way, and then putting on top of that a cannabinoid treatment. And I think that and the studies that have been done on that kind of treatment is actually working. And there are a lot of reports showing that it's very good for that because it's an inflammation.
I have very sensitive skin. I have like I just flare up with all the things. For me, even after the halo, Amber, I had that, remember that one patch under the eye that just kind of didn't go away. And I had done some like V-beam lasers to it. And finally the esthetician at like the doctor's office was like, honey, you have eczema there. That's like not going to go. That's not going away on a laser. I was like, oh, she goes, if you go home and put like cortisone on it just for like tonight and see if it changes, it's eczema. And then I, over the holidays, got really stressed out. And then right in the temples of both sides, I had a little breakout, a little flare up of another patch. And sure enough, I put CBD every day for like 6 days, 7 days. It's pretty much gone.
You know, I want to ask you, is there a certain kind of, when we say I put CBD on it, are you talking about a balm? Are you talking about an oil? Does it matter?
Yes, it absolutely does.
Okay.
Yeah, right. So I think that if your customers are coming and they've, been convinced that CBD is a treatment that they want to look at, then I think that they need to look at an oil, so a tincture. Yes. Which a tincture is the one that you put under their tongue. There's no reason why you can't take a couple of drops of that tincture and put that directly on the psoriasis or the eczema, and it will help clear it up. Yep. Or if they don't have a tincture already at home, then they should look at a balm. But one of the things they want to be really careful about when they're buying a balm is that a lot of the balms out there are for recovery. So like pain. So when you're thinking about that, there's going to have menthol in there. There's going to be arnica. There's going to be eucalyptus oil. So they need to look at the added ingredients to make sure that there's nothing else in there that's going to inflame the already kind of sore condition.
Yeah.
It's funny that you just said that story, actually, because I'm the same. Every now and then, especially with the change of season, I get like a little kind of psoriasis around my hairline.
Yep.
And I'm the same. I just grab a little bit of my tincture and I just rub it on, and it does. It actually helps it go away. So I should have used that story earlier.
Well, what about, Ryan, what about for my little hair patch? So Boronia, we're going on now 2 months ago, I think from stress, I lost a patch of hair. I don't know if you can see it here. Mm-hmm. Thank you, side part.
But back in the beginning of the episode, when it's not really an active, so to speak, right? When you say like it's not going to necessarily regrow you.
I would.
Go ahead. You would still do it.
No, I wouldn't. I would not encourage that. Yeah.
Okay. It will chill you the F out if you put it under your tongue and allow it to regrow back in, possibly.
I have a treatment for that you would love. Have you heard of IPL treatment?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that is incredible for hair patches. A really good friend of mine, at the end of last year, he got pneumonia and he had a patch of hair that went away because of just all of his stress on his body. And I have one of those IPL face masks, and we put the face mask on the patch of hair, and within a couple of treatments, it grew back.
Wait, IPL
Swear
or
to God.
did you
Yeah,
say
it's
run?
like it's called IPL, right? It's that high.
Are you talking about the red light? IPL is intense pulse light, and that's generally for hair removal.
No,
Or no, it's like the discoloration.
The red cap that I used to wear all the time to regrow my hair in the back.
Yeah.
That's the red light.
But wait, is that what you were talking about, Boronia?
Yeah, maybe it's not called IPL. Let's double check. I can quickly Google it actually. Red light.
Oh, but it's the red light. Yeah.
It is the red light.
I just bought this on Amazon. It was like a mask, a Korean mask. I think the brand that I bought is Desser, Desser.
So you put the face mask on his head.
We strapped it onto his head.
Good job, girl.
And it was, it was amazing. Do you know why I actually did that? It was totally like out of the blue. So too much information, but I get chin hairs. I mean, we all do. It happens with, hormones with females. And I noticed that when I was using the mask on my face, I would start to get more chin hair. So it was like, oh my God, this is so annoying. Like a byproduct. I'm anti-aging, which is fantastic, but I'm getting more chin hairs. So when he was complaining about it, I was like, hon, let's put it on your head and see what happens. And it worked.
So I need to get one then. Aren't they like $1,000 though?
Mine was $600, I think.
Yeah, they're not cheap. Yeah, okay, but listen, if it works, it works.
Botox, so.
Yeah, I mean, hello, hi, us too. I love Botox.
I need it to be stationary. Why do I have movement? But just back to your original question, I would not treat that with cannabinoids. No.
And back to our the main point of the topic. So when you have a skin inflammation disorder, whether it's something that is rosacea or if it's more of an immune thing like psoriasis, is there dosing that we should be looking for? Is there milligrams that we should be looking for? What is your recommendation? How often? How much?
I don't have a concrete answer for you on that because everybody's biochemistry is different, which basically means that we all react differently to cannabinoids. And you'll get this answer from anyone that's knowledgeable about this. We really don't know exactly what everybody needs. But what I would recommend customers do is they're either going to buy a balm or they're going to buy an oil. Right? And I would buy the highest strength that they can get per price that they want to spend. I would also encourage them to look for a full spectrum product and then experiment, like put 2 drops on your pinky. If it's an oil and rub it on. If it's a balm, do like 1 smudge and rub it on and do it morning and night for a week or 2 weeks and see how that works. If they're feeling like it's healing too fast or it's healing too slow, then they can up their dosage accordingly. I think in this particular instance, because it's a topical, we're not ingesting it. So I don't think that they need to be worried about taking too much. I think that they can really give it a good nudge at first to really try and clear it up as quickly as possible and just go from there.
While we're on that, and not to derail this conversation, but can you overdose on CBD?
No, I've tried.
Ryan's saying no. Ryan's like, no. Wait, you tried. You
really?
Ryan.
I had a really bad reaction. I did not eat breakfast. Mm-hmm. I was racing to work. Mm-hmm. And I did it to my boss too. She didn't eat breakfast and she got a really bad she got bad information and she was really upset in the back room. And I got the new batch because I know the person that was making it in her lab. She dropped it off for me. And there was a new dropper that I wasn't used to. New dropper, new product, nothing in my stomach. Full dropper went right into my tongue. Not 2 or 3 drops like I usually do. Full dropper, no food. I needed to go eat a burger. I'll just put it at that, like that.
What was the, what was the exact reaction? I'm just curious from a business owner.
I felt stoned and silly and I couldn't finish my client. I had to pretend, I was in the middle of a haircut I can't believe I'm going to admit this. I was in the, I was in the
Real
middle of the
true.
haircut.
These are the best stories.
I pretended to cut my finger. So I pretended to cut my finger. Like, oh my gosh, I just cut my finger with my new scissors. Oh, I think I just took my entire fingerprint off. I sent an assistant over to like finish the haircut, and I pretended to go to the emergency room, like where I needed
Wow.
stitches. Hence, I'm in the back just stoned and eating a burger.
Oh, wow.
No, it was bad. It was a definite bad. Like I couldn't function to do the haircut. That's for sure. So listen, could it have been the batch? Could it have been my empty stomach? Could it have been, you don't know. And like you just said, everyone is different. Right. And I'm kind of a lightweight, like on the scheme of things, I'm a lightweight. So
But won't THC, isn't that what kind of gives you, at least THC in the marijuana, isn't that what gets you stoned?
But this wasn't full spectrum.
Oh,
at all.
That's why I was actually just going to ask that, because when to answer the question, can you overdose on CBD, the cannabinoid CBD? I thought that I could say that with full confidence. No, but clearly I can't say that because you did. So that's really interesting to me. I would love to know so much more about that. I'd love to know where the product was from. I'd love to know all of that information, because
it came from it was on the hemp side of the family.
Yeah.
And I know like the farm is in Washington. They grow it right there. They have their own lab. It's like kind of the most organic, situation I could grab tangibly, like where I knew the person.
And there was no THC, but you felt high.
No, but it wasn't like I was just like silly and unable to function for a little while. Like I didn't trust myself to go and charge that woman $200 for her haircut when I was done. Like, no. So,
but we don't want that. We have to be careful of that. I think because, so I take CBD every single day, and I mean, if I function when I'm taking my CBD because I have to. I get up in the morning and I go to the gym and I do my work and all of that jazz. But I mean, I'd be like, oh my gosh, if I'm going to take this and it's going to make me do that, that would worry me slightly. I think it's probably a very rare case.
Extremely.
Very rare case.
Never happened again.
Right.
But how many drops do you feel is in a normal dropper?
So most droppers are 1 mil, right? They're a 1 mil drop. And within 1 mil, I think you can get about 6 to 12 drops out of that. Would you believe I take a full dropper every single morning under my tongue? But I have a lot of anxiety that I have to kind of deal with. And so that's the dose that works really well with me. And I take a really high strength product too. So I'm taking 1,000 milligram product. So each dropper I take is 33 milligrams of CBD, which is quite a high dose. And it's a full spectrum product, but that's my body. A really good friend of mine can barely take that. She has to take 1 to 2 drops underneath her tongue.
That's it.
And that is it, So I do think that when anyone's trying this kind of thing for the first time, you have to go slow and you have to go low. Yeah. So CBD in general, and when I say CBD, really I'm meaning all cannabinoids. So I'm meaning CBD, CBG, CBN, and THC, because that's a full spectrum product. So cannabinoids in general, when you're dosing, I think it's super important that you are patient and do a diary. So whenever I'm starting a new product, I even will write a diary. So I'll put the time that I take it, I'll put how much I took, and I'll kind of make a couple of notes about the feeling that I felt. And I'll do that for, a week to 2 weeks, just so I can get a feel for what this product is doing for me. And that's what helped me find my sweet spot. But you do need to be a bit patient with it, because the other thing about it is it can take up to 72 hours to work. So in some instances.
Oh, maybe Ryan, you were having like some sort of a weird delayed, who knows?
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, because it's got to do, if you think about the endocannabinoid system as a bucket, sorry, there's a fly, as a bucket of cannabinoids, right? And when you're sick or when you're tired or when you're overworked, we use those cannabinoids. So our bucket is depleted and depleted and depleted. And if we're not topping those up, then we're consistently operating from a place where we have, minimal cannabinoids. Everybody's different. So like, for example, person A may have a full bucket. So if they take a big dose, they're going to get what happened to you, right?
I just had a full bucket.
Yeah, you were fine. You didn't need to take them.
Probably not. I was showing off.
Yeah.
So I love the advice. Go slow, go low.
Go slow,
Yes,
go
for
low.
sure.
But speaking
For
of
sure.
low,
Can we jump right to this?
That's what we doing. Cause you know, Ryan's all about that booty. When I met you, Boronia, you were like going off about the suppositories, right? We've been talking about the CBD as a tincture. I took it as the caramels, but you have it also as a suppository, and you said that that's actually one of the best ways to get your CBD.
I do.
Tell.
I truly believe that. So, okay. So I'm trying to word this in the most diplomatic way.
No, just say it. Just say it.
Okay.
That's who we are.
So yeah, right. So basically when you take a suppository, it is the second best way to take it other than injecting it directly into your bloodstream, right?
Which we don't recommend mainlining anything.
Of course. But so when you put a suppository inside your bottom, you have a lot of very rich and juicy blood vessels within there. So what happens is the suppository dissolves, and those rich vessels start to absorb it really quickly. The other thing about that is it doesn't have to bypass your liver. So if you're taking a capsule or an edible, or even when you're putting it under your tongue, a proportion of it will go through your liver. So your liver has to essentially metabolize it and work to get it to your bloodstream. When you put it in your bottom, it doesn't have to do that. So it happens really quickly, and your body doesn't throw as much away. So when you're putting it through your GI tract, it's thrown away in your esophagus, it's thrown away in your stomach, it's thrown away in your intestine, and then it's thrown away again in your liver. So once you put it into your bottom, none of those things happen. It goes directly into your bloodstream, and you get the full dosage.
Wow.
So Ryan, I know you said you had done a deep dive of the website, which by the way, for everybody at home is mellodaily.com. That's MELLO, no W, daily.com. And you were really excited because you said you saw the suppositories. How many did you order?
So my question to you is this: I already had started doing that. I already started putting it there. For many reasons, as a gay man, for recovery, for relaxation, it was like before, during, and after, honey. So
absolutely.
So at the end of the day, it was.
That's why they're called mellow bottoms, because I want people to start thinking about bottoming.
Absolutely. I love it. Another way for my girlfriends to transition to anal. I'm so excited.
Exactly.
It's the best birth control. Let's move on. So
no, but let's not move on, because Ryan, you brought up an interesting point. So for people who are considering, anal sex, is this something that helps to relax not only your nerves about it, which you don't want to be clenching tight, right? But also maybe to actually relax some of the muscle?
It does, yeah, 100%. So we call them mellow bottoms because obviously we want to encourage bottoming, but both, hetero sex, like vaginal intercourse or anal intercourse, both. It's good for both, because what's actually happening is the cannabinoids will relax that area. They will promote blood flow to that area, which will help with stimulation. They will also help to slow everything down. So if, you have premature ejaculation situations or anything like that, it'll actually slow everything down a little bit. So it's, for various reasons, a very good sexual health product. And that is why we actually put frankincense in it, because frankincense is a natural antibacterial. So, all of that down there can be quite bacteria heavy. And so that's why it's a very clean product. It's only coconut oil, hemp oil, and frankincense. So you have no problems putting it in either front or back.
Oh, you can also put it like into your vagina as well.
Oh,
vaginally?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It forms a lubrication. You leave it in for like 10 to 15 minutes. Get your busy on,
Oh.
be intimate with your partner, massage, whatever you need to do. And then 10 to 15 minutes later, you can play away.
Game day.
I'm adding them to the bag right now.
Add to the bag, honey. Put it in the bag. Put it in the bag.
In all bags.
I did not know this existed until I took the deep dive on your website. And I was literally like, yes. Because I was literally using my tincture.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So there's nothing wrong with doing that. It would just flow out. It wouldn't stay in there.
Well,
I guess you have to be in a position.
Well, girl, it's not my first rodeo, but I can keep it in. So at the end of the day, I figured it out, but now I don't have to. It's just like, you've made it so easy.
It is really easy.
I cannot wait. Well, we're now
and store them in the
everyone.
fridge too. One thing I would say is keep them in the fridge. So that they're nice and cold. It can be a little bit like whoopsie daisy when you put them in because it's cold. But I kind of like it.
Cold is better. Cold is better for your muscles intro, like to work it in and start. Cold is always better.
Are there products that
stand out?
Like the suppositories are something that you probably won't find in, the local store.
I mean, I think when you look at Mello and you look at the products I stand behind all the products that we have on the site, truly. I think anytime you come to Mello, you can trust that our products are completely vetted. So we make sure that every single product on the site has third-party lab tests, which basically means that you can understand not just the ingredient in the product, but you can actually also see the cannabinoid profile. So I think that's really important. You can trust it. We have a report from a third-party lab test that says it has this much CBD, this much THC, all that stuff. We also do not have any products that have pesticides or solvents. So they're really clean. So when you're ingesting these things, you know that you're not putting anything that's going to be carcinogenic to your body. I also think it's really important. This is a kind of a superficial one, but I think they need to be pretty as fuck.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to leave them on the shelf. If you're having visitors, you don't want to be like, oh my God, I've got to put that away. You want to leave it out. It's cute. It looks great.
I have this up right now. So if you're watching, you'll see the Mello sea salted CBD caramels. And this was the sample that I brought home. I took it that night and had the best night's sleep. And I said to my husband the next day, I'm buying like 18 boxes. And he said, you better wait and find out if you can OD on it, because he's right. I wish I could just take one of anything, but caramel candy, they're delicious. And he was like, what happens when you eventually eat 5, which you will? But I guess now that we're in the clear.
I would agree. I would agree with that. I would say, so the caramels, to me, I think they're such a sophisticated flavor too. Yeah. I don't know if you noticed, but they've got it's almost a rich and indulgent caramel flavor.
Oh, yes.
It's not your standard. They're just buttery and luscious. I think it's not just a CBD thing. It's also the caramels. Like, I can't stop eating them myself.
Yeah.
And would you believe I actually tested it once and I ate an entire box because I wanted to be sure that you couldn't overdose. And all that happened was I had a great sleep. Like,
oh my gosh. If you ever need somebody to test that kind of dessert treat, overdoing it, you know who to call.
Amber's
and Mom,
I'm
sending you a box of these for Valentine's Day because they are delicious. And so what else? Let's see. We've got some vapes, some oils. Oh, I guess look at this. You've got your fave section.
We do. I would say, so one of the cute products on here that I love is the bath bombs. We actually just featured as well the vendors yesterday, and they're a really cute married couple that I just adore, and they have such a wonderful story. But this is a really interesting product as well because it's very clean. It has witch hazel in it, which is very soothing to the body. So going back to psoriasis, this could be a really interesting thing for people who suffer from psoriasis. You could put it in the bathtub, get in the bath. It's got 200 milligrams of CBD in it. So it's a very high strength product. The other thing that people don't think about is when you bath in CBD, it also goes inside your vagina and your bottom.
Right.
So you absorb it there as well. And people don't think about that. So it's not just the transdermal layer of your skin that's absorbing it, it's also those areas. So this is another product that I think is really good for recovery and healing. It could also be a sexy time product. You could get a little bath time with your partner.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I would totally do a suppository, drop this in the tub, jump in for the 10-15, get it going inside, outside, and rock and roll in 10 to 15 minutes. I loved that there was 200 milligrams in that bath bomb. I've never seen it that high. So that's really cool. Because sometimes
I love that you picked that up.
Sometimes when it's like 15 to 30, I'm like, how much is that? Like, what are you doing? But that just set you guys, again, you've set yourselves apart from quite a bit. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Really spectacular site and
super
products.
Exciting.
And again, if people want to know more about this, if they want to try the products themselves, you can do that at mellodaily.com. That's MELLODAILY.com. Boronia, thank you so much for coming on. If people want to reach out to you, is there a place that they can find you?
Yeah, you can just email me, Boronia at mellodaily.com, or you just follow us on Instagram. So our Instagram handle is mellodailycbd, and just DM us. We pretty much respond pretty quickly. So
amazing.
Thank you. And everybody at home, as I said in the beginning of this podcast, we brought Boronia on today as in reaction to an email that we received from one of you. So if you've got questions, if you have things you want us to ask Boronia or find other experts, you can always do that. hello@artbeautypodcast.com. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook at Art Beauty Podcast.
And check us out on our new handle, our YouTube page, www.artbeauty. Say that, Amber?
It's www.youtube.com/artbeauty.
I will get it one of these days.
It's quite a mouthful.
Get it one of these days.
I feel you.
This guy.
So sorry. But at the end of the day, we were always going to see you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.